Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of FaceTurn with Candace Cordelia. I am your host, Candace Cordelia, and today I have not one but two special guests. They are the current Mission Pro Wrestling Tag Team Champions and also CCW Tag Team Champions. They're absolutely killing it just a year into their careers as professional wrestlers. Please give a warm, hearty welcome to the Renegade Twins. Hello, ladies.
Hi, Candace. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you both today?
I am fantastic.
I'm great. Had a long, full day of work. Now we're here with you, and I'm enjoying every minute.
Yeah.
Yes.
Super excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you both, and we're just getting started. So, I cannot wait for our viewers to really get to know Robyn and Charlette, just so that I can make it clear. I have on it'll be different for everyone watching. I have to my left, my direct left, that is Robyn Renegade, and to her side is Charlette Renegade. Just want to make that clear for everyone watching. But if you forget, folks, you forget. You can stay tuned to everything that they're doing on social media. They are getting up to a lot, and we're going to get right into it. First question I have for you both. How did you guys get started in pro wrestling?
Do you want to tell it, or you want me to tell it?
It doesn't really matter.
Well, you can tell how you got into it first, because she got into it before I did. I was at college playing softball. Wrestling wasn't even an idea in my mind. But Robyn was home because she was still in high school. She was doing her thing. She was trying to go out to the Navy. She was trying to do her thing. And she and Dad loved wrestling. So I think you should.
Yeah. Like Charlotte said, I was trying to go off to the Navy. That's what I wanted to do my whole life. That was my dream. And one night, me and Charlotte had gone to a NXT live event in Atlanta at Center Stage. And outside, we had gotten a flyer to One Fall Power Factory, which used to be the Nightmare Factory before it was the Nightmare Factory. And we just went to a show. It was just a flyer for a show. We went to the show and we met QT. And when we met QT, he told us that we were more than welcome to come in and start training. And it took us about a month to really figure out if we wanted to. And we did it. And we kind of just fell in love with it. But again, I was watching wrestling for about 2 or 3 years before Charlotte even thought of wrestling. And I guess we just kind of just fell in our laps. We never really thought that we would be wrestlers until it kind of was an option.
Yeah, it was something like when I first started watching wrestling, I remember the first day my dad was like, "You want to watch this pay-per-view with me?" And it was SummerSlam 2018. And I was like, "Dad, wrestling, really? This is so stupid." I was like, "It's fake, right?" And he was like, "Just sit down and watch it. You might like it." That 3 hours went by so fast. And it was the cage match with Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy. And when he put that screwdriver through his ear and just turned, I fell in love. That right there, I was like, yes, I love this. And then I started watching it a lot with Robyn and Dad all the time. And it was like, you would sit there and be like, we could do this. We could do this. This would be so easy. It's not that easy, but it was like, we could do this. And we started coming up with names and we started coming up with moves that we wanted to do. And then when we went to the NXT live show and it just kind of dropped in our lap, we were like, okay, maybe. And it did take us a second because I think we were both a little hesitant at first, but
we knew that if we decided to do something like this, it was 100%. So we wanted to make sure that it was something that we really wanted to do. I was going to not go into the Navy, which I had just taken my ASVAB and I was about to leave. And I had just decided to not chase a dream that I wanted my entire life for something that I might want. I have no idea. So it was something that we wanted to realize. But again, the second we stepped in that ring, at least for me, the second I stepped foot in that ring and took my first bump, I loved it. It was like I was at home. And every time I go out there, I try to, share. Yeah, be better with myself, better myself always. But just share the way that I feel about this sport with everyone else.
It took me a little bit longer, but I got there and I love it. I love what I do and I love making fans feel like emotion over what we're doing. I love making people care.
Wow. So it sounds like Robyn definitely gravitated towards wrestling a little bit before Charlette. So how did the training aspect start? Did you both train together? Did you, Robyn, train a little bit earlier than Charlette? Talk to us about that.
So I didn't get any more training than Charlette did. We both started at the same time. Charlette and I had a few injuries when we first started, at different times. So at different times, one of us got more training than the other. Mm-hmm. But all in all, we all have the same amount of training, both of us. And we did train together. When we first started, Charlette and I used to like just chain and actually wrestle on the bed at home, and just all the time, every night when we got home from training, when we didn't have training, it was just me and Charlette were connected at the hip when we first started, always training together. And I mean, we still do train together now. It's just definitely not as much as it was.
Oh yeah. Once we started getting to hit and throw strikes, wrestling with each other was out the window. Because we were learning, and other people were more patient with us, with our hard-hitting style than we were with each other. So, but yeah, no, I love training with Robyn. I love training tag style. At first, we were training singularly. Now we train tag style all the time, and I love it. I love working with my sister in the ring.
Wow. And, not many people can say that. There are certainly other sets of twins in wrestling and other siblings as well. And one thing that always seems to fascinate me is notwithstanding, being wrestlers, the fact that you are close, you're twins, you're sisters. Were you two always close growing up, or was there one that had Robyn's like, oh boy, let me tell you.
So Charlette and I were not the closest growing up. Definitely as we got older, we got very close. But growing up as children, Charlette and I did not get along very well.
Yeah, it wasn't like our mom always said our entire lives, like, your sister is your best friend. She's going to be there forever. Like, you better get used to it. And because me and Robyn were always compared, we were always like trying not to be the same and always butting heads. And it wasn't until we were about 17 years old, I think, that we finally realized, like, yo, you're my homie. And like, there's no reason why we cannot do this thing together, like this thing called life together. We're a team. And like, it took a while to realize that, but here we are now. You know what I mean?
I mean, regardless, I think Charlette and I had good times growing up as well, but
yes,
there was
there was
definitely some times where Charlette and I definitely did not get along. But we did grow up, like Charlette said, family is everything. And like Charlette said, around 16, 17 years old, something clicked in our brains and we just became the best of friends. And it hasn't really changed since then. So I don't know. It's my buddy, man.
Yeah, this is
so heartwarming. And
it's my homegirl.
And it's working. Your bond that you've found as you've gotten older, the strength of it is working for you in the ring. You're tag team champions at Mission Pro Wrestling. And I have to stress that this interview is a part of Mission Pro Wrestling Week that we're having at FaceTurn and Candace Cordelia for PWI. So that is whenever this airs, in terms of, we know it's going to air, obviously, but it'll air in December. And there is going to be a very special December 11th show that Mission Pro Wrestling is having in Texas. And this interview will help to celebrate Mission Pro. So we're definitely going to talk about the promotion a little later on, your relationship with Thunder Rosa and the experiences that you both have had at Mission Pro Wrestling, which I feel is such a special promotion and it's needed in wrestling today. But I still want to, because your backgrounds are so interesting. I mean, Robyn, you talked about wanting to get into the Navy, and Charlette, tell us about your background and how you specifically got more invested in wrestling, because it seems like Robyn, she has the background with the Navy, and I caught myself there. She has the Navy background, and I also understand that you, Robyn, you have a baseball background, so you definitely had athletics, going on and through your veins. But Charlette, talk to us about your side of the story, athletics growing up as a kid, and how you seem to gravitate towards it like your sister.
Okay. So I remember my first ever memory I have with wrestling in my life. It was the Great Khali squeezing somebody's head. Now I don't know who the somebody was, but I remember what his face, like what color his face was. It was bright red, and I don't know, just seeing like someone that strong growing up and like into high school when I did ROTC and I started playing softball and I was doing lacrosse, I was doing all these things. It just made me want to be stronger. And that was always in the back of my head. And I didn't base my life off of it. And I don't think like I knew it was wrestling. But then, like I said, the crazy stuff with Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy with the screwdriver in the ear and just all of that stuff. And my dad started showing me, like, of course, we were watching a lot of WWE, but my dad started showing me old school wrestling. And I fell in love with old school wrestling. And that's really where I became like attracted to wrestling. I realized because I knew, as a catcher who was 200 pounds at one point, I could not do the flips. I don't like heights either. I don't want to go up on the ropes. So for me, it's like I'm strong and I've always been strong. And I base a lot of my wrestling style off of old school wrestling. I don't do a whole bunch of high flying stuff. I like doing it when I can. I can do moonsaults and stuff like that. It's just not my style. But that's really how I became in love with wrestling, was watching old school wrestling and realizing, oh, I could do this. And like seeing the Bella Twins, which I know that's crazy, but like that was one of the first tag teams I watched. Holodead and Thunder Rosa, the Twisted Sisters. They were the first women's tag team we watched in person at Ring of Honor. When we got invited to come to the school, One Fall Power Factory for the school show, it was on January 11th, 2018.
You remember that?
I remember all these dates. I think it was 2019. I remember all this stuff. We started wrestling on February 18th, 2019. I remember all this stuff. So when we went to that show at the school, we met Mandy Leon from Ring of Honor. And I'm looking at this very beautiful woman in front of me, and she goes, "Oh my gosh, you guys should come backstage at Ring of Honor." And so we went backstage and we got to see how everything worked. And we got to meet everybody and just seeing the locker room full of women, because that was our first experience with a locker room. But these women were so nice. It was amazing. So that's personally what like attracted me towards wrestling. Just like the small little things I got to experience before taking my first bump, and then taking my first bump I loved it. But dad's really the reason why I got into wrestling.
Wow. What does your dad think about the careers that you both are having right now very early in? I mean, I read that your professional debuts were in 2020. That's last year. So what does he think about the success that you're both having?
Wow, that's actually a good question.
Yes. Our dad has always been supportive.
Yeah.
We both played softball. Our dad was our coach. So he has wanted nothing but success for us. He helped me get to college.
I was going to say, part of the last question, when she asked about your background, I was going to say you played softball in college. She played softball in college. Softball. And she was in ROTC throughout high school. So there was that nervous as well.
I'm so sorry.
But yes, he has been our biggest cheerleader in sports our whole lives. I personally think that he is super proud of us. I hope anyway. Cross our fingers, but he has been the person to help support us throughout the entire thing, from start to finish with our athletic careers. So I feel like he, I don't know, we owe our entire athletic anything to him.
Our athletic drive, any of that, our work ethic, it's all our dad.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure he is proud. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I mean, let's face it, you're both, and we may as well jump into Mission Pro talk. You are both the current tag team champions, very new as of the debut, of this interview. But, Mission Pro Wrestling and I said this word before, I called it special. I do believe it is a special promotion, not just within the landscape of women's wrestling, but in wrestling overall. And it's being spearheaded by someone being Thunder Rosa, who is so inspiring, very motivating, and just extremely a bright light. You see her work on All Elite Wrestling. We've seen her in NWA. We've seen her in so many other promotions. And even still now, what she's doing with Mission Pro is outstanding. So let's get right into your experiences, both of your experiences in Mission Pro thus far. I mean, when you were, I don't know if you were asked to come to the promotion, how that started, but talk to us really about the journey, how you both came to working with Thunder and Mission Pro.
Well, we were asked by Thunder herself to come and be a part of Mission Pro. And I think ever since we've been a part of Mission Pro, we have done nothing but get better, whether that be in the ring, outside the ring. She helps with everything. I remember the first time we went up there about 3 or 4 days early to San Antonio, and we trained with her at the Dog Pound Dojo. And that was an eye opener. She has helped us with so much. And like, she doesn't need to, she doesn't have to, but she does it out of the love of like wrestling and women's wrestling and always having other women's back. And she's just an amazing person. We owe a lot to
her and her husband.
Yes. But Mission Pro has changed the way that we think about wrestling and perform and try to act when we think professional wrestler and how they react and wrestle. It has changed the way that we think of perceive that, I should say.
In what way? How did it change your perception of wrestling, particularly the business side of it, which I believe is very important?
Well, for me personally, I have found out that with Mission Pro, it's always okay to ask for help for one. You'll never know until you ask. But you also need to know who is what and what's going on around you. The business is a business of performing, and it's always going to come down to me or you. So you need to always make friends and remember who you're going back to and who helped you from the beginning. But you always need to look out for yourself as well at the end of the day. But you just need to be humble about it. Thunder Rosa has showed that you can get somewhere big without having to step on someone's neck for it or betray your own morals. She has shown that hard work and dedication and loving and helping somebody, but always doing what's best for you at the end of the day without hurting anybody else can get you somewhere. And it's way more admirable to do it that way than to run on somebody. Does that make sense?
It does. To me, it does. I hope for our viewers it does as well. It does to me. And that's very profound because there's so many different stories behind the scenes from the experiences of wrestlers. And for you both to be in the positions that you are so early in your careers, it seems to me to be a testament to what you've been taught at Mission Pro and taught by Thunder Rosa and by Brian as well. What's the most valuable thing that you both believe you've learned, other than what you've stated, Robyn, just by performing in the ring for Mission Pro?
For me, I'm learning small things all the time, like timing. We just learned that with La Rosa Negra. We've learned from Holodead. Like, I love talking to Holodead and Thunder Rosa, just like sitting down with them and saying, hey, what can I do better and what do I need to work on? And I think the biggest thing for us is timing. And it was in my brain. Timing and slowing down. And like that, I don't think that's the same thing, like timing in your move sets and then like time or like slowing down and just being in the moment and kicking somebody's butt, you know?
Just kind of like, I feel what you're saying, Charlotte. Just kind of like letting everything soak in. just doing something and letting it chill for a second and remembering that why you did it, what you did it for.
Having a reason for everything that you do in the ring.
So the psychology too is stress. Very, very cool. I like that because that's something that a lot of people nowadays talk to. Where is the psychology? Where's the psychology?
Yes.
Yes, for sure. I mean, we also wouldn't be where we are now without our coach as well from QT.
Marshall.
He has helped us
so much.
Tremendously. From day one, he has been our coach. And I think he will forever always be our coach, no matter where we go or what we do. He will always be our home coach. And he has helped us tremendously. We wouldn't be where we are today without him at all.
Shout out to QT Marshall, because I had him on the show I believe that was wow, time is just a blur at this point. I believe it was a month or so ago. Could have been a few weeks, but nowadays time is just, time is just time. But he was really great. And I personally learned a lot from QT, things that I didn't know just from reading, the pages of PWI or on a website. And I do believe, just after speaking with him, that he really honors the position that he is in. And he's a humble person, and he loves what he does. And it shows in his students, and it shows in his own work. So we got to give him his flowers. Definitely got to give QT his flowers.
Definitely give him his props. He is an amazing coach, and we owe our careers to that man.
Yes. And, we can get into some AEW talk, which there are a few questions I wanted to ask you both. You both have been on AEW Dark, and I believe, Robyn, you've been on AEW Dark and AEW Dark Elevation. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But you also battled against Thunder Rosa in the ring, and between the both of you, you've pretty much faced a majority of the women who are in All Elite Wrestling. So tell us about that experience, being trained by QT, doing your thing in Mission Pro, and now being able to work in All Elite Wrestling.
Well, actually, my match with Thunder Rosa was my very first match there. And we had yet to even be invited to Mission Pro. When I had talked to Thunder Rosa, she said, my husband told me my husband told me to wrestle you and tell him what I thought, and we'll go from there. And I said, oh, okay. So it was an honor. I mean, I have always wanted to wrestle her. So it was an honor to even wrestle her on such a huge platform as my first time. And it was just amazing. She took care of me. She definitely helped me through the entire thing. It was amazing. I know Charlette and her had done a seminar a while back. So she had already had previous experience with Charlette and how she moved in the ring, but she had never wrestled me. I was broken, had a messed up ankle, so I couldn't participate, but it was such an honor. And she is amazing. I remember there was a move. Oh, she did her stalling double knees or drop kick in the corner. And she came to me backstage and she goes, oh my gosh, I kicked you right in the face. And when I was sitting there and I was thinking about it after the match, I didn't remember that. I don't remember thinking, oh, she kicked me in my face. Watching it back, she kicked me in my face, but I had no idea. I was so excited when I watched it back. I was like, she kicked me in my face. Thunder Rosa kicked me in my face.
Not many people can say that. So,
right.
Yes, I can't blame you for getting excited. So we hear about the backstage of All Elite Wrestling being this family environment. People seem to be very helpful. It seems like you can ask questions. Having stated that, did you find that there were times where you were able to do that you were able to ask any questions that you might have, or rather gaining advice from any of the other wrestlers? Was that a possibility for you both?
Yes. My match against Ty Conti, I absolutely loved working with her. I loved working with Dustin. He was our agent for that match. And I really did feel like anything that I was able to give her an idea, and she was able to bounce stuff off of me, and we were able to collaborate, and I enjoyed that. And then when we finally got to speak to Dustin and go over everything, I could ask him any question like, hey, this doesn't make sense in my mind. Like, I wouldn't put this here, but why does it go there? Because I know that it's right, but I don't know why it's right. And I was able to ask questions, but I was able to feel comfortable enough with that. And then it was like, when I came backstage afterwards, she told me what I needed to know. Like, hey, maybe we can work on this, or maybe you can work on that. And I appreciated that. And I didn't feel like it was coming from a bad place. I felt like it was coming from a place of genuine like care. Same with Dustin. It was good. I enjoyed my experience. And my Nyla Rose match, because I've only had 2 matches. My Nyla Rose match, both Vicky and Nyla, I love them both. I watched that match back, and they all told me I died when she came off with that knee. But when I watched it back, I was so excited. Just like Robyn said, I was like, she almost killed me. And it sounds so stupid, but she is so, I don't know. I just enjoy the people backstage. They're so nice. And it really is like a family environment.
Yes, and we got to give flowers to Nyla Rose and Vicky Guerrero as well, 2 of my favorite people, honestly.
Yes.
And it's an honor and a blessing that you both have been able to work with all of those amazing people at All Elite Wrestling. You know, I want to also go back to Mission Pro. And Robyn, you did state that before you both were even at Mission Pro, you were at All Elite. So by that time, you're going from All Elite now to Mission Pro. So what is that experience like, working with the fantastic locker room that is at Mission Pro? We have Holiday, Maddie Rankowski, Kylan King. You know, what is that like for you both?
I can only speak for myself, and but I remember thinking and feeling the same way that I felt about AEW about Mission Pro. My very first, like the way that I felt my very first time at AEW, the butterflies and the nervous and I really hope I do good, was the way that I felt my very first time at AEW. And I remember looking at Charlette and thinking and telling her, we need to be on our A game. Like, this needs to be the best performance we have ever given. And at that point in our careers, what we had given was exactly that. And I was very proud of ourselves. But in my brain, stakes were high. If we didn't do good at this, like on this debut, it just wasn't it was just not gonna go well for us. And I'm so glad that we delivered. Again, I don't know how Charlette felt.
So, as like, we're twins, she's the yin to my yang, whatever it is, yin to her yang, I don't know. But it's just, we really are that way. And it's like, when she started to freak out and she started to get so nervous, I was so calm, and I didn't understand why, because I knew all that she was saying was true. And I knew, like, we had to go out there and put on a show. Like, we had to say, like, hey, we deserve to be here. And you guys did not just like waste your time, like, bringing us out here and putting us on your show. Thank you for this opportunity, is essentially what we were saying. Like, we don't want to
squander the fact that you decided to pick us out and bring us to your show.
And we knew it was an honor to be at Mission Pro. It is an honor to be at Mission Pro. Like, they handpick their wrestlers. They watch their women. They do their research. And they trusted Robyn and I to come in and like start a tag division. And it's great. And I love that. I love Mission Pro, and I'm so grateful for them.
So, yes, you are the tag team champions at Mission Pro. What was that like, gaining those titles? I know that you were up against Bad and Bougie. You know, what was that like?
I'll let you answer this one first.
I don't know. That sounds so weird that I don't know. It took, at the time that it happened, I think Robyn and I were just so nervous for this, that we had even gotten this opportunity, and we didn't want to mess it up. Like just like we just said with our debut, because we knew, I might cry. We knew how important it was. And this is a very important moment in our careers. Oh, I feel so stupid.
I got you, bro. I got you. Like Charlotte's saying, it is a very important like point in our careers. It marks the very first time that we are acknowledged on a championship level, you are on a different level now. We expect you to not just be here. We expect you to be here. we expect you to always be here. And if you're not always, at least here, if not here, like it's a huge thing. And it just changes the way that we're looked at and the way that Mission Pro is looked at. We're their first ever tag champs. That's something. That's history, a part of Mission Pro. And that's something that will always be remembered in Mission Pro history. We know that at the end of the day, when that's, say, maybe one of these days we decide to get a book of Mission Pro history, that's going to be in that book. You're going to see that. That's a part of that. That's going to be there forever. Mm-hmm. And what we do with our little part of Mission Pro history means a lot to us.
Yes, you just saw me get emotional about it. But yes, I was so grateful for the opportunity. And when it finally happened, it was so much happiness. And just like, it was overwhelming. You saw both of us were crying. It was just yeah, ugly cry. But I mean, but yeah, we got to hug some of our like greatest fans, hug mom and dad, hug each other. It was just, I love my sister and I love Mission Pro, and I'm just so grateful. That's how that felt.
And now we're moving into December 11th, another big show that's happening, the last show of 2021 for Mission Pro Wrestling, but it won't be the last for you both at Mission Pro. You're just getting started. You're on a roll. What can fans expect to see, without spoiling it for us, obviously, to see December 11th? Any surprises, perhaps? Anything of note?
I'm not sure. Let's see here.
So I saw on the poster BFT. We just wrestled them for the CCW championship title belts. I think they may be there to do something. So keep an eye out for that. Round 2, maybe.
Maybe a round 2. We'll see if Holiday, has the idea, done her research a little bit. We'll see.
Okay. Holiday is no joke, but you know her as well. So.
No, I was in a battle royal with her. That was scary. She's strong.
Oh yeah.
I love that woman. She's a great person.
Yes,
though.
I love her to death. But she's great. I told you earlier, her and Thunder Rosa, those are 2 women that I know I can go to and get straight facts. Like, hey, if my match was hot crap, they're gonna tell me, hey, that was bad, girl. Maybe we should work on this. This is what you need to do. And I genuinely appreciate that. Like, I need that to get better. You know what I mean?
We all need someone to tell us where we're doing wrong. Because if you don't tell us where we're going wrong, then we won't be able to fix it.
Absolutely. And now at Mission Pro, is there any chance that both of you will go solo at some point? Do you have any thoughts? Not don't get me wrong. Not solo where it's at the point where you're no longer the Renegade Twins, but also, doing your thing. Like you have a match here and there where it's just one of you doing something like what you did at All Elite Wrestling and then coming back and doing Renegade Twins. Is that something that you would do at Mission Pro, or is it just going to be strictly Renegade Twins at Mission Pro?
Personally, we have done at other promotions here, we've done one here in Georgia where we have matches separately, where Robyn will have a match, but I second her to the ring, or I have a match, but she seconds me to the ring. I don't think that we will never be not together outside at a ring. At Mission Pro, I think if you see Robyn, you will see me. If you see me, you will see Robyn. Granted, do I think we might have some singles matches in the future? Maybe, because, it'd be pretty cool for the Renegades to have 3 Mission Pro belts. You know what I mean? So maybe one day, but right now, I don't think so.
My personal opinion, I don't think you're going to see the Renegade Twins have any kind of other match than a tag team match for a very long time in Mission Pro. That's just my opinion.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. As long as you guys are in sync with everything, we'd love to see it. We can't complain at all. I'm going to switch the conversation. This might be a goofy question, but I have noticed something that I personally was just a little bit put off from it due to the flavor. But I say that because I want to ask you both, what is it about bubblegum ice cream?
So we did this podcast with this guy.
His name is Duke.
His Twitter is at Duke Loves Wrestling.
Yes.
We love Duke, for the record. Shout out to Duke.
He's a good guy, but his ice cream choice is a little off. I work in an ice cream shop. I see so many different types of ice cream. I'm a manager. I get to go to the factory to look at the ice creams. I've never once seen bubblegum ice cream. Okay. Never in my life. And he asked us, he said, hey, what's your favorite kind of ice cream? And we of course gave him ours, mine being black cherry and green tea, and Robyn's being,
mine was
espresso chip and
it was like a double chocolate, like raspberry truffle
raspberry chip.
They're really fancy. Like
it's from the place I work at.
Oh my
Anyway,
goodness.
he comes back. We said, Duke, what's yours? He says, bubblegum ice cream. That's what we said. I was like, oh no. And I said, how old are you? He was like, I'm a grown man. I was like, I know.
Eating bubblegum ice cream.
No.
What's your favorite kind of ice cream?
Thank you for asking. I do want to start by saying
I love that.
This is the second conversation in an interview I've had within the past week where we're talking about ice cream. It went from pets. My inaugural interviews started off talking about pets, and now it's ice cream. So I see a kind of something's happening, but I like it. I'm not going to say I don't. But yes, thank you for asking, because first of all, I've never heard of bubblegum ice cream. Didn't know it existed. I know cotton candy I can, get down with. But my personal favorites are rum raisin, cookies and cream, and coffee. Charlotte's like...
So because I do work in an ice cream store, I get to taste all these different ice creams. Rum raisin is my personal least favorite holiday flavor that we have.
That's okay.
It's not my favorite. I think maybe in a couple years I'll like it, but it's just not for me.
Honestly, rum raisin, I'm not a big fan of raisins, but rum raisin sounds pretty good.
I like raisins, but I don't think I like rum.
Right.
No, that sounds pretty good. I would want to try it. It's okay. I feel you, girl.
But she loves coffee ice cream.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, it's been my fave for forever. Coffee. With me, coffee, I didn't even start drinking coffee until much. I was never a huge coffee drinker, but I loved coffee ice cream. But your guys' flavors are, black cherry is not my personal fave, but the way, the additions, it sounds, I would try it. Just the way you described it.
So
I think you guys sold it very well, and now I have to try.
Yes.
I have to try the additions. Yes.
You know what I tried this morning that I didn't realize was so yummy? Charlotte's work, we went there this morning, and I got a scoop of pumpkin ice cream.
Wow.
Like pumpkin spice ice cream, and a scoop of coffee ice cream, and ate them together. Girl, it's like a frozen ice cream pumpkin spice latte. It's so yummy.
That sounds delicious.
It was so good.
Yeah.
Way better than bubblegum. Way
right.
I can imagine.
Right.
Oh, we'll get off of the bubblegum because it's making my stomach hurt just thinking about bubblegum ice cream. I couldn't imagine.
Why is it?
That is so funny.
So you're talking about working in an ice cream shop. I love the idea of that, right? Do your colleagues know anything about your wrestling careers?
Yes. I was very honest with my employer when I came in. And I told her, I said, hey, I need to have a very flexible schedule. I'm here to help you as much as you need me to help. I'm here to take a place of responsibility if that's what you need. But I do, this is what I'm doing. I'm a professional wrestler, and ultimately I want to do this as a career one day. And she said, I can do that for you. And of course, she told her son and her daughter, who in turn told the other employees because they work there too. And it just got around, and everybody came and talked to me, and I've shown everybody my matches. I've shown them Robyn's stuff. They see our belts all the time. Like they ask to see pictures of what we're doing. They love to keep up with it. And some of them actually like have started watching wrestling because of it. And I love that. I love to introduce people, you know, and some of my customers, like, I'll wear this shirt and they go, who are the Renegades? And I go, that's me and my sister. And they're like, oh, why do you have a t-shirt? And I have to explain why. Or I have this one little old man. He's my favorite old man to come up to the caboose. I work in a train caboose, by the way. So he comes up and he starts talking to me about wrestling. And he goes, you know, they do this one at Dragon Con. And I was like, oh? And he's like, yeah, you got to get down there. I went down there last year. And I was like, okay, man. And he was telling me like shows that he wants to see us wrestle on. And I'm just like, this is crazy. I didn't realize how many people actually enjoyed wrestling until I introduced it into some place that like kids, adults, teenagers, everybody comes to ice cream, you know, everybody likes ice cream.
You're absolutely right. And it's really nice that you can showcase yourselves to a wider audience. And that's another thing that we hear a lot when it comes to wrestling news. How do we get wrestling to a mainstream audience? Because we've been hearing over the past year and a half, ever since the pandemic started, really about the numbers, about ratings. And I think what you have just expressed is very important, because being able to showcase your talents in front of people who might not even know that wrestling is still televised is extremely valuable, really valuable. So I didn't know if you had anything to add, Robyn. I felt like you wanted to jump in, unless I
no
spot.
I will say,
I'm just listening. I'm listening.
I will say, I think some people are afraid to say, hey, I'm a professional wrestler, and put themselves out there, because there is the social stigma that it's fake. And a lot of people don't take it seriously. And when you say, hey, I'm a professional wrestler, and someone goes, oh, wow. And you're like, really, dude? And you're like, it's not an enthusiastic, oh, wow. And they keep going. They're like, wow, how long have you been doing that? And it's just bad. And it's just, there's a stigma with it. And I don't know, but I'm proud I'm a professional wrestler. I did not do this not to be proud of it. My mom said, if you're going to do something, you better be proud enough to say that you did it. And I am proud enough to be a professional wrestler. I am proud enough to show people my stuff. I think at first, when Robyn and I first started wrestling, we did not want to show our stuff. We were like, this is not good. Please do not show people this. And it was like training matches and just like really, really bad. I took on way too much in a match and I messed up. And it was just like, that was the stuff that was being out there. But now I'm so proud of what me and my sister have accomplished. And I'm more than proud to show off our Mission Pro and our CCW tag belts.
Oh yeah. I also think that like, I'm very proud of where we've gotten, but I also think that we have so far to go. We have so much more to learn. We are so green, and there's things in wrestling that we haven't even touched yet, or can't even start to understand or comprehend, because we just haven't been there yet. And we won't be there until we're there. So like, and we won't understand until we're there. So I think that where we are and what we've accomplished in what we've been really officially on the indies for about
a year, like you said, not even a year.
Yeah,
it's been about
I would
7
say,
months.
Yeah, I would say
7,
it's about 6-7 months, to be honest. Because until we started getting on AEW, we weren't booked a lot on the indies. We debuted right before COVID. COVID hit. The indies shut down for a year, and then we started trying to get booked after everything started opening back up, and it took a few months. And we got on AEW, and we started getting booked a lot. And I just feel like that has definitely shot up our progress, and we are way better than we were 6 months ago. But we have a ways to go.
Oh yeah,
we have so much to learn.
I think we only got there because of the women that we had the honor of working with.
The women,
all of the women in the AEW locker room, the women at Mission Pro, the women in other promotions. It's just the women that we've come into contact with have just been amazing in teaching us and really letting us know, like, this is how this works.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You know if you're good at it, you know if you're bad at it. And again, we're learning.
Right. And again, back to QT. QT is never, not once, like, lied to us about where we are in our wrestling careers. He's always been very open with us and very blunt with us. So QT has always been very real and always tried to show us that like, this is the reality of wrestling. This is what it is. And I believe that we wouldn't be where we are again without the support of QT or even Dustin or Cody, even backstage, like Charlette said about AEW. Dustin, I remember going to Dustin multiple times. Well, really, my first time there, I'll give this as an example. My first time there, I'm about to go out of the curtain. Dustin comes up to me and he puts his hands on my shoulders and he goes, "You okay?" I said, "Yeah, I'm okay." And he said, "No, you're not." And I said, "What do you mean?" And he said, "You're moving a lot. Are you nervous?" And I said, "Yes, sir, I'm nervous." And he said, "Don't be, you got this." And he gave me a hug and then my music hit and I was supposed to go out. But he came up to me and he like made sure that I felt okay before I went out. And the fact that he took the extra thought process to notice just an extra, just standing there trying to remember her match, who first time ever being there, may or may not be brought back, have no idea who I am. I'm just a person. I'm a fly on the wall. Which is what we need to be at this stage, but that's what I was. And the fact that he had enough forethought to look at me and think, hey, this person needs this reassurance was crazy. And like stuff like that it's happened like that throughout our whole wrestling careers. We owe our wrestling careers and us and like who we are as people and who we are as wrestlers to everyone who's ever decided to help us in wrestling.
We are a culmination of all those who have had hand in our upbringing and our success. So I'm beyond grateful. But Robyn's experience with Dustin, it wasn't just some of the older guys, some of the older coaches. I had MJF look at me in the hallway. I was so nervous. I just come out of the bathroom. I was so nervous. I was crying. And Allie was in the bathroom and so was Britt. And they were like, "Hey, are you okay?" And I said, "No, I'm about to cry." And they said, "It's okay. It's okay. You can cry in here." And I said, "Thanks." And I dried my eyes and I said, "I'm so sorry." And I left. And as I'm walking out, MJF sees me and he goes, "Hey kid, you okay?" And I said, "Mm-hmm." And he said, "No, you're not. You look like you're about to crap your pants." And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Okay, you're going to kill it. Go." And then I was like, "Okay." And then Ethan Page, the doctor, like I had so many people come and check on me and just make sure that I was okay and that I knew how to wrestle. I know like it's in my body and I'm capable. They made me feel like I was capable and that was so refreshing.
Thank you for sharing those stories, especially as we have a little guest that has decided to peek his head in the screen. Normally he's done this a few times, but Charlie he's captivated by your story. So he's just being a cat. This is what it is. But
he just got a cat.
Oh, really? Wait,
yeah.
So and one thing that I also read about you both, you have 5 dogs. So now you have 5 dogs and a cat. Oh my goodness. Well, how is that going?
We just got her yesterday. She's a chartreuse. She's gray with like bright orange eyes and she's gorgeous. My brother brought her home. Nobody wanted a cat. Nobody was looking for a cat. It just happened to show up at work and he said that it had been there for a while and he was like, "I can't, it's starting to get cold here in Georgia." And so he's like, "I need to take this cat home because it has no place to stay," which is how a lot of the time we get a lot of our animals, we rescue animals. So, he decided he was rescuing a cat and my mom said that was okay. And so we brought it home and it's now acclimating to like, we're trying to introduce the dog slowly because
we don't want it to be dog food.
Because it's a baby. It's a kitten. It's not a big cat. So
and our dogs have never been around a cat. They've always been introduced to new dogs. So we know they can acclimate to another dog, but we've never put them around another animal outside of a dog. And we're kind of afraid of how they're going to react.
Oh my goodness. And one of your dogs has Down syndrome. I also did read that as well.
Yeah, so it's the equivalency, like in dogs, of like if they had enough chromosomes, which they don't have the same amount of chromosomes as humans do. It's the equivalency of Down syndrome, but in dogs.
Sure.
So it's not technically Down syndrome, but yes, but she does have Down syndrome. She's not a normal dog.
Well, having stated all of that, and this is actually, I love the transition. I guess Charlie coming in really was a blessing in disguise, because one of the questions I really wanted to ask you was, how do you manage to be on the road and then also have these animals? It sounds like you have a lot of help from your family,
Yes.
but how, besides that, I mean, is it really hard for you to be away from your furry babies as you're accomplishing all of these amazing things outside in the world?
Yes, I miss my babies incredibly. This is Biscuit, our little...
Hi, Biscuit!
This is a special needs animal.
This is the special one. This is my baby.
Hi! We love animals at PWI. We really do. And we have a column in the magazine written by Jordan Grace of Impact fame. So, you know, we're here for the animals. But Biscuit is adorable. So adorable.
She's a sweetheart.
My mom put her in here and now she doesn't want to get out.
See, that's how it is. That's how it is. Charlie is just laying by my feet. I think he got the picture. He was like, "Mommy's working," so we're just
just lay there and be fine.
Bye now. But yes, I'm assuming it's hard to be away from them, even with the help that you have from your family, which is very important as well. But you know, we love our babies. So
yeah, and it's hard sometimes. Like, sometimes for like AEW stuff, we'd be gone for a full week, and that'd be the longest like I'd ever been gone away from my dog. And I got him a year ago during quarantine. You know how quarantine puppies are. They are very needy and I want my mom's all the time. So my dog's with me all the time. And I didn't realize until I would get away from him for an extended period of time that I would look at my phone and see a picture of him and be like, I just want my baby back. I don't want to be laying in a cold hotel bed by myself. I just want my dog.
Oh, but it's a great thing that you both are doing. Robyn, it seemed like you wanted to add something in that. Sorry if I keep pointing you out. It's the facial expression.
It's okay. It's okay. I'll give you something. I'll give you something anyway. Going off of like being super sad when you don't have your dog.
Yeah.
I personally have a pillow that I take with me of my dog's face. I had gotten it.
Didn't know you did that.
Yes, I had gotten it as a Christmas gift from an ex-boyfriend. And now I take it all the time everywhere with me. It's like a little throw pillow that's about this big with her like animated face on it.
I like that, to be quite honest. I love the concept. Why not? It helps.
Right?
Why not? Why not? You know, and you talked about everything that you both have been saying thus far. It's so encouraging. I can only imagine that any other girls coming up in this business watching this, they're going to feel a certain type of inspiration from you both, and to feel motivated that they too can make something of themselves in this business. You both came into this business at a very unprecedented time as well when it comes to women's wrestling. And I've said in other interviews that I've had with other women wrestlers, you know, we're familiar with the bra and panties matches of yore, and now going from the 4 horsewomen of WWE to seeing what has happened in that promotion with women's wrestling, to AEW, to Impact, Ring of Honor, MLW now too with their new featherweight division, NWA, Stardom, the list goes on and on. What do you both feel being in this particular time in wrestling as women and having the success that you have, and being, to be quite honest, you're a beacon to someone out there. You're a beacon to little girls out there that are looking at wrestling and thinking, I can do this too.
Personally for me, when I started wrestling and I realized that women's wrestling wasn't quite taken as seriously as the men's wrestling. I personally set out to prove people wrong, that women's wrestling can be entertaining, and it's not a bathroom break, and it's not a time to just like say, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, we can do what the men do. Like, we can make you care just as much as the men do. We're not glorified. I don't even know. You know what I mean? Like Barbie dolls. We're not that. We are women, and we are, pardon my French, we are badass, and we are tough, and we work hard. Women like Bianca Belair and Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker, that match, Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker's match, I cried. I watched history be made that night. It was a moment in women's wrestling that I will never forget. History. You want to talk about history was made? That was history. So for me, I set out to make a difference in women's wrestling and to prove people wrong and prove, hey, we are just as good as the men and we should be taken seriously that way. And I think being aligned with Thunder Rosa has definitely helped. And like, we are very like-minded in that. And we share like the same cause, if that makes sense.
I think more or less for myself, it's about being equal. It's about give me the same respect you would give someone else. Because at the end of the day, what makes me any different than you at all? Just because, right, we're all doing a job. Just because I'm doing it a part of a different division doesn't mean anything. Yes, I do agree that men's wrestling and women's wrestling are two completely different things. They can be similar. But if we're being honest, there are things that men can do that women can't. There are things that women can do that men can't. It is what it is. They're two different things. But you must have respect for both of them. Because at the end of the day, it's more than just a bunch of women who look good and some, like, if they choose, and a sports bra and some shorts that have their little cheeks out. You know, like, it's more than just objectifying women. It's a sport. It's something that those women have decided to pursue and put everything that they want into it. Like, no one that is gotten to where we want to be on television, making good money and living their dream the way that they want to live it, never like worked hard for it. They worked to get there. So have the respect and dignity and like
just have
decency,
respect, yeah,
to understand that this is hard. Not only does it hurt, but it's not easy. It's mentally draining. It's physically draining. It messes people up in their brains and in their hearts that sometimes people struggle with this. You don't know how many times, I'm sure every wrestler in the world has ever thought, I don't think I want to do this. You know, like this is hard. This is something that isn't for everybody. And I personally have immense respect for the people who have been doing it for 10, 15, 20 years and haven't stopped. That's dedication, dude, because I know in the past 2.5 years, the struggles that I have had, that sucks.
You got to be a strong person.
You have to want this. And me personally, my motivation for wanting to better women's wrestling is to get respect. Women deserve this respect. You deserve to be able to, like, we deserve for you to look at us and understand that we worked for this. We busted our tails. And we deserve the respect for it.
We deserve to be here as much as you do, essentially, and respect us like it.
Very well said. I can't disagree with anything you said. And it's very powerful. And I can see the passion in both of your eyes, as well as just in your work. And your work is speaking for itself. Your dog agrees as well.
Yes.
Your work is speaking for itself. How are you both managing the toll that wrestling has on you, not just in a physical way, but also mental? Because mental health it's important also. It's a topic that is becoming even more mainstream now than I think ever before when we're talking about the simplicities of stress management, or I don't even want to say simplicities because stress management is a whole thing in and of itself, but just making sure that you're okay. And if you're not okay, asking for help. How are you both navigating that within the world of wrestling?
I believe that Robyn and I, growing up, have always had a very strong support system here at home. And I know we've stressed it so much throughout this interview, but family is number one. Family is important to us. And our mom has always been there to be a source of wisdom, a light in whatever darkness you may be going through. She's always been there for us. And personally, that's how I deal with it. I talk to my mom, I talk to my sister, I talk to my dad. Is sometimes if I need to talk to my little brother about something, I'll talk to him about something. Like, I feel everybody has their own experiences and everybody offers different things, but I feel like my support system is strong personally.
I agree with my support system. Blah, blah, blah. Lord Jesus. I agree that my support system is strong. But I will say that I personally don't choose to speak about the things that I feel, especially when it comes to wrestling. I would, me personally, I'd like to think through them myself, and then I like to work through them myself. Like, I enjoy to, when I'm really down in my dumps and I'm feeling some type of way, I like to go to training, and I like to just work, and like, not just a little bit, like a lot, to the point where like I am exhausted, can't finish the drill that I'm doing, because I just want to, if I'm down in the dumps, it's most likely over wrestling and how I'm performing. So I'm going to get in the ring and I'm going to try my best to fix whatever I feel like I'm not going to be able to fix, or what I feel like I'm lacking in. So me personally, my therapy is wrestling itself. I just get in the ring and work. I choose, I'm lucky enough to have my sister and a lot of friends up at our training facilities. So I know I can say to anyone, really, hey, someone come work with me, and they'll run the same drill with me over and over and over again until I'm tired and they are too. So I just, that's another thing we love about sorry, Char.
No, you're good. I was gonna say that's kind of how I feel about it. You just work through it. I am a strong believer in it is okay to cry. I've cried a couple times during this already. I think crying is cathartic, and I don't care if anybody calls me a baby for it. I feel like it's necessary to feel your feelings. And like, I know that's hard for some people, but what I've found is feeling my feelings and crying about it, whether that's to myself or crying and venting to somebody, but being in a safe space where I feel okay to cry, it's cathartic. It feels good. I feel like it's important for people to know it is okay to cry and it is okay to ask for help. Like, it's not a bad thing, and it's not seen as weak if you need to go to someone and say, hey, I'm struggling with this. Can you talk to me about it? Or can you sit here and listen to me cry for a minute because my feelings are hurt, or I feel some type of way, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It absolutely does. My last question for you both. What do you both want to achieve in 2022?
That is such a broad question. Yes. Because I want to do everything.
I was going to say, I want to achieve everything.
I want to do everything.
I know that's not
possible. I know. I was going to say, I want to do everything, and I want to do it right now. Like, that's such a hard question to answer, because I want everything right now. I'm so impatient, and I just want this so bad. And that's another thing. That's another reason, like, why Charlotte and I have such a hard time with wrestling, is because we want everything, when we want it right now. And when it doesn't come fast enough, we're like, oh,
we get frustrated. But we're not frustrated with wrestling. We're frustrated with us, because we feel like we're not good enough. We're not doing something right. We're not living up to what people are expecting of us, if that makes sense. So we hold ourselves to a very high standard, and we strive, or at least we try to strive to get there, to get to that point where people can look and say, hey, I recognize that. I recognize your hard work.
But I guess if I'm going to be completely like realistic about it, because obviously not everything right now, I think by the end of 2022, I would like to, and I feel like this is very reasonable, I would like to be working at least twice every weekend, whether that be flying somewhere and then finishing, and then the very next day flying somewhere else, or flying to one place and working 2 shows in that one place, whatever it is, at least twice every weekend. And I hope we make our debut on some big names like NWA or Shimmer or Impact, or, you know what I'm saying? Or hopefully ROH comes back, things like that. I would hope that by that point we have really truly made a giant dent in this wrestling. Not that we haven't made a dent now, and not that, like, the platforms that we haven't been given aren't big, but I'm hoping that we are truly, truly touching plenty of people, thousands upon thousands of people, and making a difference in their life. At least that's what I hope.
Agreed. She said it best. I don't have to say anything.
I mean, you both have said it best throughout this whole entire interview, and it has been wonderful getting to know you both. What you're doing right now is just extraordinary, and I can only personally see bigger things to come in 2022 and beyond. But for right now, I'll say it one more time. Mission Pro Wrestling Tag Team Champions and CCW Tag Team Champions, the Renegade Twins. We will see you, whether it's in person or on the screen, December 11th, Mission Pro Wrestling. For all of you watching, please check it out. They put on a fantastic show, and that's not just the Renegade Twins Mission Pro. They're putting on fantastic shows each month, and it is a treat watching their fantastic roster, including the Renegade Twins and Thunder Rosa, just kill it each and every time. Thank you both once again for being a part of my show. It is awesome talking with you. I hope we can do this again in person next time.
Yes,
thank you for having us. You're so welcome. Good luck to you both. Thank you once again. And thank you all for watching another episode of FaceTurn with Candace Cordelia, where we give you exclusive scoops with your favorite wrestlers. Stay tuned for the next installment. Take care.